Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shuang. Zhang Jian, 38 years old, is a Chinese citizen journalist and former lawyer who was tortured and sentenced in December 2020 to 4 years in prison on the charges of picking quarrels and provoking trouble for her reporting on the Chinese government's mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Zhang Jian used to work as a lawyer, but had her license revoked for participation in the human rights movement. In August 2018, Zhang was warned by police for allegedly inciting subversion. In September 2019, during the Hong Kong protest, Zhang held up an umbrella on Nanjing Road and People's Square in Shanghai in support of the protesters, inscribed with the slogan, "End Socialism, Communist Party down." On September 9, she was detained on suspicion of disturbing the public order until November 13, during which time she went on hunger strike twice. On February 1, 2020, Zhang traveled from Shanghai, her place of residence, to Wuhan to cover the COVID-19 pandemic. There as a citizen journalist. In dozens of her short, shaky videos, which she live-streamed and uploaded on Twitter, YouTube, and other social media, she documented overflowing hospitals, empty shops, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, crematoria, the detention of independent journalists, and harassment of families of victims of the pandemic seeking accountability. She also wrote essays. One story on February 16 accused the government of covering up the true numbers of infections and deaths in the name of maintaining stability, of keeping the media under control, and accused the authorities of coercively and violently ordering and depriving people of their basic human and property rights through the imposed strict lockdown. According to Zhang, crematoria in Wuhan were running day and night during a time when state media claimed that the pandemic was under control. Another video showed her visiting the police station where Li Wenliang had been reprimanded for spreading word about the outbreak, trying to obtain information about his case. In her last video before arrest, she criticized the lockdown of Wuhan for being unduly harsh, saying that the government had managed the city with intimidation and threats, and that this was truly the tragedy of this country. Then, Zhang went missing on May 14, 2020, the day after she had last streamed a live broadcast from near Hankou railway station. Later, it was revealed she was detained by police at a hotel near the railway station where she was staying and transported back to Shanghai. She was imprisoned without charge until November. On June 19, 2020, Zhang was formally arrested on the orders of the Pudong state prosecutor. The Wall Street Journal reported that in early August, Chinese authorities conducted a health check of Ms. Zhang. After that, they requested the family member pay a visit to the prison. It was then that a doctor at the prison told Zhang's brother that his sister's life was in danger. Ms. Zhang is 5 feet inch tall but weighed less than 88 pounds, well below the roughly 140 pounds that would be considered healthy for her height. On Monday, November 8th, the U.S. State Department called for Ms. Zhang's unconditional release, saying that Beijing should respect freedom of the press and the right of people to express themselves.
The States is deeply concerned about the deteriorating health of PRC citizen journalist Ms. Zhang Jian. According to multiple reports citing her relatives' comments, Ms. Zhang is near death. In December of 2020, Beijing authorities sentenced Ms. Zhang to 4 years in prison on charges associated with her journalism on COVID-19 in Wuhan. The United States, along with other diplomatic missions, we have repeatedly expressed our serious concerns about the arbitrary nature of her detention and her mistreatment during it. We reiterate our call to the PRC for her immediate and unconditional release and for Beijing to respect the free press and the right of people to express themselves freely.
International advocacy groups, including Human Rights Watch, have also called for Ms. Zhang's release. In early November, Reporters Without Borders nominated Ms. Zhang for its 2021 Press Freedom Award. Ms. Zhang grew up in a relatively well-to-do family in Shanxi province and studied insurance and finance in college before working as a lawyer in Shanghai, her brother said. She took up an interest in human rights and activism around 2013 when she converted to Christianity. When the family found out that Ms. Zhang had gone to Wuhan in February 2020, they pleaded with her to take care not to get infected with the coronavirus, barely noticing the video reports she was publishing. It wasn't until the police detained Ms. Zhang and brought her back to Shanghai in May 2020 that her family learned the full extent of her journalism and the severity of the actions in the eyes of the government. Zhang's brother said he had often talked to his sister about moving abroad to the US, where she could more freely express her opinions. But he said she always rejected the idea and grew ever adamant about fighting the government. He recalled her saying, "China's problems should be addressed in China." COVID-19 has now been with us for 2 years. It has turned people's lives upside down, triggered sharp economic downturns, and killed more than 5 million people worldwide. But we still do not know where the deadly virus came from. For a simple reason, Chinese regime does not want us to know. China first reported that a novel coronavirus had emerged in Wuhan weeks after its initial detection. By the time China told the world about COVID-19, it was far too late to contain the virus. Understanding whether the coronavirus emerged naturally in wildlife or was leaked from a lab is essential to forestall another pandemic. But the CCP has been doing everything in its power to prevent an independent forensic investigation into the matter. Without China's cooperation, determining COVID-19's origin will be impossible. Based on the U.S. State Department report released in the final days of President Donald Trump's administration, Wuhan Institute of Virology has a published record of genetically engineering coronavirus, and that it has collaborated with the Chinese military on secret projects since at least 2017. We now know that Wuhan laboratory workers had been among the first cases of COVID-19, with symptoms consistent with both COVID-19 and a common seasonal illness. They had been sufficiently ill in November 2019 that they went to the hospital. Without further information, it is hard to tell if these were just cases of the flu. But 3 laboratory workers getting sick enough to go to the hospital in the same week does sound unusual, and given that most younger people generally have mild symptoms of COVID-19, there might have been more than 3 people infected who did not get as sick. But proving that COVID-19 was leaked from the lab, or that it wasn't, would require U.S. intelligence agencies to gain access to more data from the early days of the Wuhan outbreak. And Beijing is not giving that up. By now, CCP has had plenty of time to get rid of any evidence of its negligence or complicity. If CCP has nothing to hide, what is it hiding? Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.